Welcome everybody. I'm so happy to be here again with our first live show after the summer season. The sun is shining in West Clare and I couldn't be happier to pick today to introduce you to our guest. Now, as usual, we want to hear from you, the audience. So we're transmitting live on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to leave us any comments, where are you watching from? And if you have any questions for myself and Flossie, you can feel free to ask. We will try our best to get through them once we have chatted a little bit with Flossie. So I'm going to introduce you to Flossie Donnelly. She's a 15-year-old climate activist in Dublin, whose story I can't wait to hear and also share with you. Climate activism is not easy feat, and to begin at such a young age is just truly inspiring to me. It requires motivation, but also leadership to motivate others to join your cause. So without further delay, I'd like to introduce you to Flossie. Hi.
Hi.
How are
Thanks
you
for having
today?
me on the show. I'm good, thank you.
Very good. So we're going to start just by hearing your story, Flossie. I'm dying to hear more about how you got started with the beach cleaners. What motivated you in particular to start something like this?
Well, when I was 8 years old, I got to go on holiday with my parents to Thailand, which was amazing. And my mum has always been obsessed with marine life and fish since I was born. So whenever we went anywhere, no matter where it is, she'd always be looking in the sea and dragging me along to look with her, even if we were just looking for crabs at the end of the road in Ireland. But yeah, when we were in Thailand, she had her head in the water looking at all these beautiful different types of marine life. But all I could focus on was all this rubbish floating on the surface of the sea. And I just couldn't understand why such beautiful marine life is having to sit with all this plastic and pollution. So from that moment on, I just couldn't not see it. So when I got back to Ireland, I started up a beach cleaning group. And so since 9 years old, I've been beach cleaning. And then in 2018, we became a charity. And we are educating junior school students and corporates about plastic pollution, the damage that it's doing to the sea. And we're educating TY students to show them how we can stop it.
Wow, that is just amazing. You have achieved in 15 years more than many of us climate activists have been trying to do in the last 40 years. So really well done. And Flossie, something that is rampant, I guess, nearly amongst young generations is climate anxiety. Have you ever suffered climate anxiety or anyone that you know perhaps?
Yeah, climate anxiety is a bit of a tricky one. I personally don't suffer with it too badly because I believe if you do something actively to help stop climate change, you don't feel as bad about it. Of course, all the doom and gloom about it, climate change all the time can get you down. And I know many climate activists who have moments where they'll just go offline for like months at a time because it's all just become too much. And sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, oh, this is too much. Can I expect us all to manage to stop this problem? But honestly, I believe that if you can do something actively, it will make you feel better and it will take your mind off it because you feel like you're actually actively doing something.
Yeah, well, you've answered my next question, which was what can young people do to reduce climate anxiety? But yeah, I feel pretty much like you. I also suffer from climate anxiety for nearly a decade when I was younger. And I guess the only way that I managed to manage that anxiety was when I started doing something myself about climate change. So I completely understand where you're coming from on that one. But how do you lead? How do you motivate other people to join your cause? Because that's not easy.
Well, when it comes to beach cleaning, a lot of people want to join in because once they understand how zen it is and actually relaxing, they do want to join. Whether they actually come to beach cleans is another matter, but their support is there with us. And then when it comes to like climate striking and getting people to understand that, it can be a bit more tricky. Like before COVID in 2019, climate change was a trend, so everyone wanted to be eco-friendly because became such a trend and such a fashion. But then when COVID hit, other fashions came in and climate change kind of went out. So climate striking would be a bit more seen as weird again, which is annoying. But once people understand the idea and see what people on the other side of the world are dealing with, and see some of the problems we're dealing with in Ireland, I find they really get climate change is a really serious thing. So we have to get active.
And when you're out cleaning, what kind of things do you find? What's the most found, I guess?
It really depends on the beach, to be honest. Sometimes we can just go sit down in one place for 2 hours and pull out microplastic. Then sometimes we can pull out really weird and big things like shopping. On one beach we find shopping trolleys every time in the same place, which we're never completely sure how they get back there. We find it's wrong, but we actually really enjoy finding old things now. Like if we find an old bottle or a Coke can with a really old date, we literally get so excited because we're like, oh my god. Like a few years ago we found packaging from Dunn's store, which is 70 years old. So old.
Wow.
And the Tights packaging is still perfectly usable. It still has the original font on it, and it's so old that it's called St. Bernard's instead of Dunn's stores. But
Oh my god.
Yeah, but one of the weirder things we found, which is, it's not even weird, it's just disgusting. We once found about 35 just plastic strips with hair on it because someone had gone down to the beach that day and waxed themselves, and they had used about 30 strips, and it just had so much hair on each strip.
Oh, must have been a very hairy person.
Yeah.
I know we laugh and it's not funny, but sometimes you have to laugh because it's otherwise you'll be crying all day. So I hear that you are traveling to Indonesia very soon. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Well, one of the visions of the charity was we'll bring TY students to Indonesia every year, TY students who want to become environmentalists, because you don't really understand what's going on until you see what's going on the other side of the world. Like me and my mum went over to Indonesia a few years ago, just after we set up as a charity, to meet some conservation trusts out there and to really see the problem, because the social media love to over exaggerate how bad it is. So we wanted to go over and see if is it really as bad. And in the end, it wasn't great, but it really was an eye-opener. It shocked us so much. So we're bringing 40 Y students out in October, at the end of October, for over 2 weeks. And
Amazing.
We're going to be spending the first week in Jakarta, which is like the local city. And we're going to be working with an environmental school out there who are literally on the banks of the Chitterham River. And it's amazing to pay to go to school. They pay in plastic bottles, and mainly what they learn about is like religion and the environment and how to protect the river and stuff. And we'll also be hopefully planting a tree and vetiver plant by the Chitterham River, which is like a plant where the roots filter out the water. So hopefully their plan is in like 20 years the water will be clean enough to play in and drink.
Amazing.
And then for the last week, we'll be going to one of the small islands called Gili Travanca, where we'll be working with another conservation trust out there, where we will be helping save the turtles and doing constant beach cleans, along with giving workshops to the local schools out there, and hopefully bringing so much back to Ireland.
Amazing. And how do you even get to pick who goes with you in this trip, though? That must have been hard.
Funnily enough, it wasn't hard at all. Not many people actually wanted to go too much, because when you have a child who's really into the environment, then you have the problem of the parents not wanting them to go so far away. I mean, understandably, it's a really long trip. And then you might have the opposite. Parents really want their kids to go, but the kids just don't want to. So honestly, it was always kind of a hard one. Like we were going to last year, but then COVID was kind of a problem. And also the TY students weren't too into it. But this year we have a good group that are dying to go and so excited.
Well, for your next trip, Flossie, if you can't find anyone, I'll happily come with you. So just let me know. But I think what you're doing is amazing, going somewhere else in the world. I was in Nepal recently. We're doing a bit of work over there. And just to see the way other people live compared to how we live, it's just really inspiring, I guess. And it reminds us all that there is, there is many different solutions out there to climate change that we haven't really explored ourselves. So if anybody wants to get involved on your charity or donate or help you with cleanups, where should they go, Flossie? You have a website? I'll put it on
Yeah,
the
we
screen.
have our website, which is just Flossie and the Beach Cleaners, and then it just comes up with our website. And on the website, if you email us, if you want to help out or anything, or join us on Beach Clean, just let us email us and we will add you to our WhatsApp group, where we have hit over 200 people in all
Amazing.
of Ireland. And if you want to donate, we have a little donate button, and we would really appreciate it, because we're a small charity and we don't have any funding.
Amazing. We will make sure to, is it flossieandthebeachcleaners.ie or .com?
.com.
.com. Good. Excellent. So my last question, and then I'll move on to questions from the audience. What gives you hope?
Honestly, what gives hope is kind of hard, because there is so much doom in the world, but it's things like actually seeing young children understand the problem with plastic pollution in Ireland. When you bring a child out on the beach for the first time cleaning, and eventually, they always are a bit bored in the beginning, but once they get into it and they really start to understand, or even if you see them explaining what's going on to their parents, it's really good, because they are the next generation. They are the future. We're the future. And so it's really good to see people really understanding and caring about what's going on, instead of just burying their heads in the sand.
Yeah, and to be honest, it is you, the younger generations, that are doing so much better than people my age have done. So yeah, hats off to all of you. So we have a couple of questions from the audience. Sorry, I'm just reading them from my phone here. So Monica is asking, on the beach cleanups, is it a mixture of young people and older generations, or do you see, younger people more than older people there?
It is honestly a mix. We have 2 regulars who come every week. One of them is 75 and the other one is 21. So
Oh, amazing.
And then you have parents with their children. So it's an absolute big mixture of people.
And I'm assuming that you kind of form certain relationships with those people if you're with them every week. Yeah.
It gets to the point where you know everything that's going on in their lives.
Amazing. Paul then is asking, do you feel confident when teaching TY students, that they understand the extent of the problem of climate change, or are a lot of them removed from it?
Well, a lot of TY students, to be fair, are a bit too cool for all of it. But what happens is they are brought on beach cleans, and then they get to decide from there whether they actually want to work with us or not. But after a beach clean, if they actually get it, they are really involved and they really do want to help. And then it's just really easy.
Very good. Well, that's all the questions that we have time for today. Thank you so much, Flossie. The website is on a screen. We will also email it to everyone that had registered for the live show. And yeah, if you want to join Flossie on trying to clean the coast of Ireland, which is so beautiful, and we have to protect our natural resources, head over to her website and join one of her events. Thank you so much, Flossie, for dedicating time today. I know you're in a school and I know you're so busy. Best of luck in Indonesia. And yeah, we love to hear how you get on when you get back.
Thanks for having me so much.
No bother. Thank you, Flossie. Bye-bye.
Bye.